Friends, welcome back to Lo-Fi Let's Plays. Sorry it's been such a long time since we've been together, but I hope everyone had a great holiday, hopefully with plenty of beloved games and family members, and a happy new year to everybody. So we're going to return to Lo-Fi Let's Plays with something that we don't normally do, which is I'm going to have you watch an intro, and the reason why will become clear as we continue on together. We'll be playing Altered Destiny. It's made in 1990, and it is designed, written, and directed by Michael Berlyn, who you might remember from the game Task Times in Tone Town that we've previously played here on Lo-Fi Let's Plays. So even though the game is made in 1990 for DOS and Amiga, I think it intends to be set in the 80s. It was retro already. You see the desk ornaments, particularly the Rubik's Cube, and our hero here, PJ Barrett, in his high-powered skyscraper, talking to his date for the evening, Trudy. They're very excited to watch all-night cable, and as you can see, PJ Barrett has been reminded that he has to get his TV at the shop on the way home. Now, if you remember Task Times in Tone Town, it was a kind of nonsense universe, but it celebrated the jazzy and the quirky, and although I'm just discovering Michael Berlyn's work for the first time as an adult, I'm beginning to think that was probably at least some component of his style. So PJ Barrett is looking forward to a romantic surprise from Trudy. Isn't this just great, the bright pink shirt? You can even see the tiny the tiny crocodile on it. And a strange and hulking figure emerges in the doorway, just having retrieved a TV and heading off. The slight PJ Barrett says, I've heard of rough neighborhoods, but a sword slung across his back seems a bit much. Okay, that's interesting. I wonder if later we'll know what that means. So now we're in Bob's TV repair. Where we've got our claim ticket and our wonderful tinted glasses and fantastic haircut. He looks a bit like my uncle when I was a kid in the 80s. Big Bob Roy says that the guy who was just in here before us has stolen our claim ticket. So that's kind of a bummer premise for our romantic evening. I wonder if there's another TV that we could get. Yeah, PJ Barrett is not too happy about that, and neither would you be, honestly, if you left your TV at the repair shop and someone took it just in time for your romantic evening all-night cable marathon. So Big Bob Roy wants to make everything right and offers us a high-definition model loaner, not coming back for a while. So we should be able to borrow this TV for as long as we want, I hope. At least enough to enjoy our cable tonight. So never fear, friends. When a 1980s man wants to have a date here at Lo-Fi Let's Plays, we're not going to keep going unless we can assure you that that's going to happen. So here comes PJ going out to his sweet Beamer. And this is his apartment with, very much au courant decor. Like, I kind of like some of this right now. It looks like some records and maybe some VHS tapes or something, Betamax tapes, and the globe lights. Now PJ is getting ready for the evening. She's bringing something special tonight, so I'd better wear the ones she gave me, the ones with the fleur-de-lis on them. Yeah, this is a very particular and quirky sort of choice to make our character iconic, We're looking at the very beginning of the adventure game era as you know it here at about the late 80s, early 90s, and everybody needed a significant look. We don't have a leisure suit or a pirate outfit, but we have fleur-de-lis pajamas, and here comes Trudy in a beautiful dress, walking up to our front door. I wonder what kind of place we're located in. Is this an apartment? I don't know. Oh, something's going on in the kitchen. We seem to be preparing some popcorn. Oh, Trudy's here, and we're bringing her some popcorn. See, folks, wasn't this wonderful introduction worth it? Hi there, honey. Here's that little something special I mentioned. Why don't I slip into it while you warm up the TV? Adventure games are great, aren't they? I'm pretty sure when I was a child, I was kind of bored by this bit, because you'll see very shortly the reason why I was attracted to this game. In addition to what I think is actually really spectacularly luminous graphics, good animations, it really, for a kid that had a black and white Macintosh computer, this was the state of the art for me. These twinkling stars and the skull that suddenly materializes from the stars to speak to you. I saw this screenshot in particular in a magazine once as a kid, and I longed for this game. So you're coming along with me going to fulfill my childhood dreams of playing this game with friends. So we've encountered someone named Jonqua. We aren't who he was expecting. We don't know, who we are or where are we or what's going on. All we've got is our popcorn. Jonqua says, you float between here and there. Had I the power, I would send you back and summon the warrior we need. But you will have to do. Our time runs out. Yeah, I guess the mix-up at the TV repair shop has kind of thrust us into someone else's adventure that ideally we hopefully be up to standard for. So, okay, what do we have to do here, Mr. Jonqua? He says, I'll have to do for what? What is this about? Yeah, good thing Mr. P.J. Barrett and we are on the same page here, huh, friends? So, the universe faces immediate destruction. My brother Helmar has had the Jewel of Light too long. It has begun to affect him, and he was untrained in its power, and an instability has started that will cause our destruction if you do not help. Okay, everybody write this stuff down. Jonqua, Helmar, Jewel of Light. They just start slinging concepts at you. This game is really, really bizarre, actually, and I look forward to showing you what it has to offer after that pretty comical introduction. Okay, we're gonna help. If you're powerful enough to summon me, why don't you fix the instability? Why do you need me? And he says he's imprisoned by Helmar. This is all he could do was to bring us here. It will take a stranger whose presence is unknown to Helmar to approach him. We entrust this task to you. You're our only hope. Find the Jewel of Light, get it from the evil brother. Got it, yes. Don't worry, P.J. Barrett, we're going to do the thinking for you, because that's what adventure gamers do, isn't it, friends? So now we land on this island, and I know some people just kind of listen along as if it were a podcast, but if you're out there, you should absolutely take a look at this pink sand, these rapturous flowers. Let's just look. It says, you look to the horizon in all directions and realize you're high on a mesa, or, how do you say that? Butte? But high in the air. Wherever you are, whatever this place is, you figure you'd better find Helmar and the Jewel of Light. And quickly. Okay, I'm going to just save the game right here so we can start a fresh game. I love finding out what other people's save games are. Some of these are pretty wonderful. So we can pathfind using our mouse or our keyboard. I'm going to use the mouse for now, just for specificity's sake, although sometimes the keyboard, sometimes the keyboard really is safest. And let's look at these vines. Speak up, Doc, says the text box, and already the bizarre and quirky tone becomes clear. The vines are tethering the island, keeping the rock from floating off into space. So yeah, we know we're kind of hung on midair in a floating island. We see some stairs here. Why don't we give them a try? Check these out. And we enter this dwelling. Interesting. What is that sign? Thanks to the years you've watching PBS specials on the Japanese, Chinese, and hieroglyphic languages, you are able to apply your interpreting skills to these ideographs. The 3 sections of pimenta leaf parchment seem to say, divining on small island, be back much later, private property. Okay, so I guess can't go in here now, so let's leave. I love some of the descriptions and the verbiage. Like, what are those fins? They're stabilizing fins for this hunk of rock. Anything you can sort of spot or imagine in the weird and magical Altered Destiny world can be sort of examined. So wow, what is all of this? This sort of factory of rainbow lights and paints. You stand near 2 structures. The angular one has a series of roofs which catch gleaming pigments that drop from the sky. Troughs channel these pigments into the structure. A light breeze drifts across from the west, bringing rich, earthy smells. Even so, the smell of acid reaches you. I just think that the writing for this game in particular is just impeccable, and I think the creativity of the setting really is really striking too, don't you think, friends? There's like these things tumbling from the sky. What are these, look, colors, what are they? They look thick, like a cross between paint and gel. Very interesting, don't you think? Let's try to enter this structure over here and see what we find. Here's something unusual. There is an alien sort of working away. So you're in a small shop where a tall, thin creature, Tentro, is hard at work. He works a mechanism which seems to be making little cubes, spheres, pyramids, and cylinders of different colors. Leaning against the wall are golden tubes. Tentro is apparently totally absorbed in what he's doing. We talk a lot about the traditional adventure game parser in this, and I've spent a lot of time showing you guys classic adventure games with very specific word structures that this particular game is a bit deviant from. It lets you do some things that you're not normally allowed to do with a parser, and it expects you to try some things that it may not be intuitive to you to try. Tentro says, I am busy, so please ask me about things you need to know, nothing else. Tentro, tell me about colors, maybe? Ah, the pigments. See, that was very sophisticated for 1990. The pigments contain knowledge and information. They flow down from above, and I capture them and make frags with them, and they're wonderful. Tentro, what are frags? Please don't order me about. I must tend to my frags. Ask about frags? Said to Tentro. They are examples of what this frag technology can create. Fragments of information. So as you can see, what we saw in Task Times in Tone Town was a certain degree of surrealism, but this is a very sort of strange kind of abstraction. Where are the frags? Take a bunch of frags. Can I have them? Holding a frag is harder than it looks. Take tubes. Can't take the bunch of tubes. Can I take one tube? Not close enough to the golden tube. Perhaps we can have one. Now, the gruff but soft-hearted Ulnar makes them for me. I see. What is this? We see a floppy disk. About disk. It's my favorite game, Altered Destiny. Of course. Okay. Look, sphere. Oh, wow, so you examine a sphere and it begins to speak to you. My story is long and arduous. The Longa were a hated tribe known for their violence. Their lands bordered on the Eula's land. The Longa might have survived if the prince hadn't shot his arrow true. A scroll in the Order of the Jewel. Tell us more of this. Okay. Perhaps we need that for a puzzle. Take frags. Put frags in tube. Point tube at frags. There we go. Now I can't for the life of you, for the life of me, tell you friends why I know that the frags go in a tube. But they do, and we're just going to have to sort of take that at face value. We have a jar of pigments as well. Let's see what else we're holding. What we might have brought with us from the other world. I've already broken so many of the rules that I taught you, but that's okay. This game breaks all the rules. You're holding a bowl of popcorn, a golden tube, a sphere, and a bottle of pigment. Oh, so we still have our popcorn. Lovely. What do we look like? Huh, it looks like you, PJ Barrett, to me. And I gotta tell you, how much I like those jammies you're wearing. Très chic. Wow. Awesome. What do you guys think of the jammies? Are we rocking it? Okay, so why don't we... Oops. Yeah, the pathing in this game is not ideal. So if you try this one for yourself, you might end up kind of fiddling around a bit, trying to figure out how to get on and off of the different screens. For example, you'll see where I'm waving my hand here. We want to get to here now, but we can't get there from here. We're going to have to go back around the way we came right now. Even this, there's a very precarious sort of edge here that you can fall in. Perhaps in the future I'll show you. Just we'll have a chance to see just how frightening it is when you drop off the face of one of these floating islands. But let's continue. Even if we go a little longer than normal today because I made you watch an intro, I think it would be nice if we just proceed a little further and see a bit more of what Altered Destiny has to offer. Now look at this very creative character design, and you come in, there's no description, there is no interface, it is elegant, I think, and just type, look. You're in a small building, face to face with Ulnar, the metal shaper. Acid drips from his hand, sizzling on the counter. Lining the wall behind him are swords and battle axes. Ask Ulnar about Tentro. What does he know? Ulnar growls. All he does is play with his frags all day. Ask Ulnar about himself. So it doesn't know the word himself. I guess the conversation parser is a little bit a little bit limited. Let's ask for an axe. The axe looks big for you, but it's a very sturdy weapon. It'll hold its edge well over time. There's more that we're going to need to do with our friend here, Alnar the metalsmith, but for now, yeah, the blade grows dull quickly like your company, says this radiant-eyed master smith. So why don't we help ourselves to an axe? Thank you, Alnar. He says, you're welcome. I really love these tiny touches about how the parser allows for, just a little more intimacy with the objects of this world. So, shall we continue on? And you may notice some of these weird little creatures around, but we're not going to worry about them just yet. I don't know if you're watching, if you sometimes see these tiny sort of moth-like creatures, and that's moss and not moth, floating through the air with little tendrils hanging down from their bodies. So onward we go, I think. Again, it's not the entrances and exits of each scene are not really logical, and that can really mess you up if you don't know a little bit about this game. So we're on the back side of all this. Look, what have we here? A gentle wind, warm and sweet, rises from the ground far below. Off in the distance to the east, you can make out a smaller floating island. Interesting. Well, this is again sort of the benefit of experience happening to me today, but let's save the game. And I'm going to do something for us, which is leave... Oh, look, a platform is coming. Let's leave our axe right here, because this platform that's coming looks very fragile, doesn't it? Floating platform. The transporter is a relatively safe method of getting from one island to another. Well, I'm not going to bring the axe just now, just in case. So we've gotten on the transporter without accident or incident, which is wonderful. And let's see where it takes us. And this might be a good time to look in your Lo-Fi Let's Play tab if you're not watching steadily, and look at this beautiful sort of vista as we float from one sort of moss and vine laden stalk to another, coming up across this strange violet sky, and arrive on another small island covered with pillars and hieroglyphs. Let's just see the pillars. The pillars are covered with runes. They're too old and obscure to make sense of them. What's on top of that pillar? Look on pillar. Look animal. I don't know the word animal. Look plant. They're tethering me. Oh, there's that thing that was moving. There is some way to look at it, but I can't recall what it is right now. Let's go and walk toward this little figure that we see in the Divination area. So this must be the friend that lives in the place we tried to visit before. Standing before you, exuding a presence that speaks of limitless age and the infinite, is a wizened old creature, Vinda. Interesting. Talk to Vinda. Hi, Vinda. You have great need to talk. I have greater need to channel wisdom. Ask about what you will, stranger. Tell me about Jonqua. Who is that guy? He is a master of silence. I don't know where he is. Ask Vinda about, what is his name? Helmar? A youth gone mad. This is, awfully poetic, right? Who else have we met here about Alnar? It's nice to be able to do that. His approach is less meditative and contemplative than mine, though. Ask about divination. I'd like a reading. To do a proper divination, I require an Indela bird. Interesting. About Vindela bird? Oh, oops. What did he say? Indira bird. Where can I find an Indira bird? Ask Vinda about Indira bird. I think we've done it right this time. See, sometimes the words in this can get a little frustrating. Indela. Okay. You know what? I've sorted it out. Oops. Sorry, friends. There we go. I know only that they are attracted by pretty colors and live somewhere in the woods. If you choose to search for one, beware of the natural springs. All right. How do we get to the woods? It is a long journey from here. Beware the natural springs that travel through them. Well, how do I get to the woods? I don't know the word how. Well, looks like that's the limits of the parser sophistication. Let's continue on today. Again, I normally like a certain intermediary length for lo-fi Let's Plays, but you give me a little extra time because it's been so long since we hung out. And oops. Ha! Well, perhaps that's our way of finding out that we are out of time. We have died, and not very prettily. Yeah, why don't we actually stop it there after all? I'll give you a clue, however. If you play this game yourself, and you make it this far, the floating orbs that we saw on the island are going to be key to leaving this space. And if you're going to catch a bird, you're going to need a cage, and so you're going to need to talk to someone on the island who makes things. And those are all the tips that I can offer you this time around, friends. I hope you enjoyed Alter Destiny. It's certainly a strange one, and a little bit frustrating, and not always easy to understand, but a beautiful and weird and wonderful artifact. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for your patience with Lo-Fi Let's Plays while I was gone, and hope to resume regular service for you starting now. Have a good one.